From 8-bit table tennis to 64-bit graphical revolutions, we are growing through our picks of video games that have made an impact in the history of their creation. Released on the 29th of October and developed by Atari, Pong is considered one of the most pivotal creations that started it all. It is widely considered one of the first video games considering the popularity it brought to the industry. It sold over 10,500 units for arcade use, and the home version of the game sold around 150,000 units in the 1975 holiday season. First released in Japan on the 22nd of May 1980, and then released on the 26th of October everywhere else, Pac-Man is considered to be a landmark in video game history. It is so popular that it is recognized by 94% of American consumers, and it had made over $2.5 billion by the 1990s, which made it one of the highest grossing video games. The game consisted of 4 ghost enemies, which were red, blue, pink and orange.
Can you name the 4 ghosts in the classic game Pac-Man?
Blinky, Inky, Pinky and Clyde.
Forgotten already. Not a clue.
I know it's really silly, like Pinky, Dinky, Slinky and Clyde or something like that.
No, not a chance, not a chance.
Pac-Man also created a whole new genre of video games, with it being set in a maze, where Pac-Man must collect all of the pellets and fruits around the maze to complete a level.
Mario's massive because even people who don't play games are like, oh yeah, it's Mario. They know who Mario is.
It's one of the, not the oldest video game, but it's been around for a long, long time. And ideas, Mario, it's still carrying on today.
I think it has been influential on some games.
It gives that game the identity, it gives the gaming world an identity. You always know who Mario is.
Super Mario Bros. Is one of the most famous video games of all time, with the Mario as the main protagonist featuring in over 200 games. It was first released on the 13th September 1985 in Japan, and later released on the 15th of May 1987 in North America and Europe. Super Mario Bros. Is a 2-dimensional platformer made for the Nintendo Entertainment System. Throughout the game, you play as a plumber called Mario, and you have to make your way through the Mushroom Kingdom to save Princess Toadstool from Bowser and his forces. If you play through the co-op option, then the second player will play as Luigi, Mario's younger brother. However, the gameplay is the same as the one-player option.
Doom was one of sort of like the first-person shooters.
The original game is brilliant, you just can't beat it.
And you were that character.
Released on the 10th of December 1993 and developed by ID Software, Doom is the game that brought first-person shooters to popularity. The main protagonist is an unnamed space marine, who then became known as Doom Guy on the internet, who has to fight his way through hordes of demons from hell. Its graphic violence and satanic imagery made Doom the subject of controversy. It was available on both PC and consoles.
Don't mind Tomb Raider.
Bad graphics is my first thought.
The storyline's always been good.
Locking him in the fridge was the best bit. Such a pain he was, just he wouldn't leave you alone.
The Tomb Raider series has developed a lot.
Tomb Raider was released in 1996 for the Sega Saturn and is the most critically acclaimed game of its franchise. You play as the female protagonist, Lara Croft, a British archaeologist who goes to different places to look for various relics. The game sets out with her having to find an artifact called the Scion from the lost tomb of Coatepec, in the mountains of Peru. Not only is the game in a third-person perspective, it has also been praised on its innovative movement, which is varied and interacts with the environment. This is one of the first popular games that features a female protagonist.
Good morning and welcome to the Black Mesa Transit System. This automated train is provided for the security and convenience of the Black Mesa Research Facility personnel.
HalfLife was released by Valve Corporation on the 8th of November 1998. It is a science fiction first-person shooter which influenced the design of first-person shooter games after its release and is widely considered one of the best games of all time.
Hey, sorry, I'm on duty, Mr. Freeman.
You play as a man called Dr. Gordon Freeman, a theoretical physicist who has to fight his way out of the underground facility known as Black Mesa after an experiment goes wrong, which causes aliens to appear and attack other scientists and security guards. It sold 8 million copies by the 16th of November 2004 and has received universal acclaim with critics praising narrative presentation and realistic gameplay. It won over 50 awards, as well as a team of 40 volunteers working on a high-definition remake of the game simply known as Black Mesa. IGN rated it the best first-person shooter game of all time, saying, "You can tell the difference between first-person shooter games made before HalfLife's creation and after." Bioshock was released on the 21st of August 2007 by Irrational Games. It is set in 1960s after the plane that the main protagonist is in crashes into the ocean next to a lighthouse. You then find yourself in an Art Deco setting in a failed utopia which was created by Andrew Ryan in the 1940s. As you fight your way through splicers and big daddies, you are guided by a man named Atlas, who's one of the only sane people left in the city.
The aspect of holding a weapon in one hand and then having like a power in the other hand has definitely influenced a lot of games. There's a lot of games like that at the moment.
I think it's probably like one of the biggest influential games going.
And with the sweat of your brow, Rapture can become your city as well.
The game is based on the ideology and works of philosopher Ian Ryan. The history of the underwater city you are in, called Rapture, can be told through various audio diaries that are found around the city. Bioshock won many awards for its in-depth storyline, gameplay and unique setting. It is seen as the spiritual successor to System Shock, a previous game that Irrational Games had worked on, and it is also praised for the moral choices in the game that affects the many endings you can get. We've seen how video games have been developed and changed throughout the years, but what's next? With virtual reality coming into play, could VR headsets become the future of games? Will there be no use for a controller or a mouse and keyboard in the future? With the Oculus Rift and the Xbox Kinect, hands-free gaming could be the new generation of games.
Why are video games so important to you?
They take you away. They let your mind wander. Whatever character you're playing, whatever game you're playing, you can be that character while you're playing the game, so you go on the journeys.
It's like having a break out of reality.
I just think it's a nice way to get away from everything, just chill out, relax, you know, it's just an excuse to do nothing all day as well.
You can get away with mass murder.
I don't know, it's an interesting aspect to the media.
It's like reading a book. You go to different worlds, you do different things, you're always someone new, someone else, so you've got millions and millions of choices to do. There's always something new to find.